Welcome back, everyone. It is the CALLOUS Invitational 6 Grand Finals Set 2. Obviously, if there is Set 2, there had to be a specific outcome in Set 1, and there was. That was SoulWind getting the 3-1 victory over Hclat to reset the bracket. So this is going to be, no matter what, the final set of the tournament. Can SoulWind duplicate that victory over Hclat, or can Hclat turn things around and earn his spot as the champion? They are opting to play just 3 hours and change after the conclusion of the first best of 5. That is not normally the case. Generally, after the first one, they schedule for a few days out. You play on Sunday, then you go, hey, let's play next Thursday or whatever. But after that, they're not doing any of that. They are settling it right here, right now. Like I said, just 3 hours and change after the conclusion of the first best of 5. So this is it. Who's going to be the CALLOUS Invitational 6 champion? Who's going to win $1,250 plus? Who's going to get the custom avatar? It will all be decided in this best of 3. For the final time, it is SoulWind and Hclat, and I said it was best of 3, but it's not. It is best of 5. Here is the match between SoulWind and Hclat for the CALLOUS Invitational 6 Grand Finals. Best of 5, not to be confused with best of 3. SoulWind on the bottom and Hclat on the top. The two most common leads in the game, Zapdos and T-Tar respectively. Stays in Thunderbolts certainly indicates there's a Dugtrio in the back if he's willing to take this trade. But Hclat is going to opt for Substitute rather than the more obvious Rock Slide. That should prompt SoulWind out. He's definitely got a Dougie in the back. Crit doesn't matter there, and here comes Dugtrio for the revenge kill. Only way that he stays in is just so happy to take the rock slides. Obviously, he's got a Dougie follow-up. Hclat knows that. It is what it is. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Charizard for Hclat on a EQ lock Dugtrio. That's a free sub, a free Focus Punch, a free Fire Blast, whatever you want. And it turns out to be Substitute. So Blissey on its best day would have to take a Focus Punch here, and on its worst day would have to take a Beat Up here. Probably switching out. Focus Punch. No, just going to pump the sub. This is going to hurt. Yep, take 56%. Mind games begin. Soft Boiled, Focus Punch. Fire Blast, Focus Punch. It is Fire Blast. And yep, it is S-Toss to disrupt Focus Punch. So Hclat wins the Mind Game turn, and now Blissey is in danger of dying to a Fire Blast, which SoulWind is not going to allow. He goes to T-Tar, and Clat is going to take the advantage of the opportunity and substitute, not only putting him in Blaze range, but it's a free Focus Punch yet again that SoulWind needs to deal with, and he's going to let Dugtrio take it. It's going to survive, actually, which is really relevant, because now it can pop the sub on the way out, so that actually really matters that he survived there. I don't know if that's a damage roll or if he always survives, but like I said, really, really relevant that he lived there, because popping the sub is actually a really big deal. Now anything faster than Charizard, which apparently he doesn't have, no Gengar, no Arrow, what have you, Starmie, whatever, would actually just force it out with little drawback. But this will suffice. Hidden Power Grass is not the worst thing in the world, and Pursuit will end the day for the Zard. So it leaves us pretty quickly in a 4-4 situation with unreveals for both players. Here's Meta, which is going to prompt out Fortress for SoulWind, and it's going to be Meteor Mash for 21%. That is non-choice band damage for Clat. Going to switch it up to EQ, does a little bit more than Mash, 27%, and SoulWind establishes a layer of spikes. How long does he want to stay in and take attacks? We'll find out. Critical Hit is certainly going to shorten the clock, and there is Spike's layer number 2, but Fori is not going to survive another attack should it stay in, which it does not. It's going to be Swampert for SoulWind, which is also going to take an Earthquake, 27%. Mind games begin. Protect, just to be safe and get lefties. And Hclat's simply going to go for Earthquake again. Why would you boom when you're at full health? You wouldn't. 50-50 Protect, which I don't know about all that. Did you really think Hclat would blow there? I don't know the 50-50 there is worth the risk, but SoulWind clearly worried about an explosion that I don't think is coming anytime soon. And it's EQ and EQ, but they end up doing comparable damage because Hclat got a crit. Both at 48% now, as Lax switches in for Hclat. And it's going to come in on an Earthquake for 32%. So after coming in on the spikes and the EQ, Lax finds itself at just 52% before it gets to do anything at all. And again, he is worried about Boom, so he's going to click Protect, though that, of course, does risk Hclat simply cursing on the Protect turn. But that's not what he did. He went for Body Slam. Coming back, thinking now he's going to Boom, and he is incorrect. It is Body Slam again. Only 15%. The thing he has to worry about is Para, but he does not find it. Here's Crunch for just 19%. That's not that exciting either. And now it is Boom, simply resulting in a trade. And that's going to leave us in a 3-3 situation. Hclat still with 2 hidden pokes. And he's going to show one of them now, this Claydol. Does he Rapid Spin here? That's also a Mon that obviously can learn Boom. And this Mon, I suspect, can't learn Boom. But what do I know? Starmie doubling in for Clat, so full team now shown. I have not seen this team before for Hclat. Don't know if this is from a dump or if this is his original creation, but it's a cool squad. Ooh, it's an off-star, seemingly. He's going to go for Hydro Pump here. It's going to put SoulWind immediately on alert. 48%. That pump is the real deal. And Earthquake there with a crit would have killed Starmie, but he doesn't get it, and now Swampert is probably going to need to either double protect, dodge a Hydro Pump, or manage to PP stall him out of Hydro Pump. And Hclat actually has Recover, which is quite uncommon on a Hydro Pump star. And that's really tough for SoulWind. He might be foddering to get Blissey in here, but she's pretty low. She's at, what, 21, I think? Yeah, 21%. So SoulWind banking that the Blissey can survive a Hydro Pump and then just get a Soft Boiled off is going to be the plan. And she does survive the pump, barely, and Soft Boiled comes down. So mission accomplished for SoulWind, but he's down a poke now, having foddered off the Fori. 3-2 advantage for Clat in the opening game of the final set. And Sing there is the right play for SoulWind. He has to make plays like that and just get there, but crappy 55-45 accuracy doesn't cooperate, and Hclat gives us a Nerds moment, which again, I'm not going to give you the sound effect because I respect the grand finals too much, but blows on the Nurse's face and leaves us in a 2-1 situation. Now the Boom possibility from Meta is very real, but SoulWind with the outplay is going to eat the Earthquake and get his own Earthquake off back. That's going to leave us in a 1-on-1, and SoulWind does have a chance here. He just needs to avoid and or stall out the Hydro Pumps. There is Protect, and there's Pump. He's got 3 of them left, and we don't know his other attacking moves. If it's Thunderbolt, then he's great if he stalls out the Hydro Pumps, but it could be Ice Beam, which complicates this a bit. There's the 50-50 Protect, and there's Hydro Pump yet again. He's going to be at 42 after lefties. Will that be enough to survive? There's only 2 Hydro Pumps left. He goes for 25% Protect and does not get there, and Hydro Pump finishes the job. It's unknown how big of a deal that was. Like I said, if the last moves were hypothetically like Thunderbolt and Rapid Spin, it was a huge deal because SoulWind would win the game by surviving that and or getting the Protect off. But if the last move for Starmie were, say, Psychic or Ice Beam, then I think Hclat probably would have won anyway. So unclear based on the set, or the unknown of the set rather, whether or not that Hydro Pump was the be-all, end-all, but SoulWind is unable to stall him out of pumps. He's got just 1 left, but that's all he needs at the end. And Hclat is going to take Game 1 of the final set of CALLOUS Invitational 6. Let's move along to Game 2, which is here. It'll be SoulWind on the bottom again, and Hclat on the top again, keeping their positions, and it's a Meta and a Tar this time. Meta with the advantage in this lead matchup has the threat of the immediate Meteor Mash, and that's what he's going to go for, and that is a non-CB Meteor Mash based on that damage. Swampert is lefties, so it's not an end pert. Gengar is the switch to Swampert. Interesting. Maybe he was thinking a Skarm was going to come in, which is why he went to Gar there, but he's going to be met with a Surf. Protect there, just in case he's got HP Grass or Giga Drain. He still very well may, but he showed Will-O-Wisp instead. Is Hclat going to respect that and get out of the way? Oh yeah, not going to risk it. Here's T-Tar, and that's going to get Will-O-Wisp instead, so it must be a Pursuit Tar if he's willing to let that come in and get burnt. There's no way you would let a physical Tar come in and eat that, so I assume a Pursuit or a Crunch is coming, and indeed it is the Pursuit. So Gengar is now damned if you do, damned if you don't. He couldn't even get bailed out by a crit here. It wouldn't be enough. So Gar's going to do what he can on the way out, and that ends up being a Thunderbolt before succumbing to the follow-up Pursuit. Hclat with the first knockout of Game 2, though the Tar is, of course, not in fantastic shape, and as it turns out, it's going to be revenge killed anyway. So we've got a boom spammy offense with Doug in the back for SoulWind. I anticipate Pokemon like Claydol and like Coon in the back for SoulWind, but we'll see. And Hclat busting out Fortress here. SoulWind is going to opt to stay in and just click Earthquake again. There's layer number 1 of Spikes, but now the Fori is actually going to die unless he has Counter or he goes for Boom here. EQ. And he does, in fact, just go for Boom. So he trades with the Dougie after getting a layer of Spikes, which is a fine deal for Hclat. That leaves us in a 2-2, and SoulWind does have a Rapid Spinner in the back. Unknown whether Hclat has a Ghost or not, but Rapid Spin is almost certain here, so he should go to a Gar if he has it, and he does. And SoulWind is going to play around that and go for a Surf. Good play for him, but the fact remains he didn't remove the Spike. It's going to still be there. Thunderbolt does a lot, but not enough. And man, does SoulWind have a crush on T-Wave Star. I don't blame him. I also have a crush on T-Wave Star, but SoulWind has brought it a lot in this Grand Finals. 3 times in the first set, and now here it is again. Recover in full para, exactly the kind of turn that SoulWind's looking for. And he's going to go for Surf, hoping for a crit or another full para. And he's going to get neither. He's going to get Thunderbolted. It leaves the Star at 10%, and he would still die if he ate another Thunderbolt, even if he recovered here. So he's going to go for the Surf, and there's no more Gengar. The question is, does Hclat have an Arrow or Jolteon? And it is ideal here that he does, because now he knows that the Spike is going to stay no matter what. If Starmie stays in and dies, cool. If Starmie switches out, that's also fine, because it'll die to the Spike on the way in next time. So it leaves us in a 3-3, and that Spike is going to be there. Here comes Regice switching into an Aerodactyl that is presumably locked on the Earthquake. Ice Beam with an immediate crit for SoulWind is huge. 73% is not a joke on the Swampert. Regice has a very high base special attack stat. It's probably modest. It does a lot of damage when it hits neutrally, as it did there. Hclat with the obligatory Protect turn. And now he's going to Earthquake, but it's not that exciting into Regice, just 34%. Swampert into the red as it eats another Ice Beam. It's at just 11% now. It is faster than Regice, but he definitely can't kill him with EQ here, pending a critical hit. And he can't freeze him either, since Regice itself is a big block of ice. So Hclat here is resigned to fishing for a critical hit, which he does not get, and down goes the Swampert as SoulWind takes the lead at 3-2. Arrow in the back, mighty dangerous as it always is, and he probably just clicks Earthquake here because SoulWind hasn't shown anything that wants to switch into that. Regice dies, Metagross doesn't like it. What's the last Mon? Ooh, he goes to Meta even though it's locked on EQ. That could be a bad sign for SoulWind, but he should survive an Earthquake and threaten a mash here, though of course Hclat can always dodge. But he doesn't dodge this time. In fact, it's a critical hit, not that it mattered in this instance. That leaves us in a 1v2, and the one for Hclat is going to be Celebi, which is going to have to immediately kill the meta here, or it'll just get blown up on. So it must have HP Fire, and fortunately for him, it does. So this is going to come down to a one-on-one matchup. It is Celebi against T-Tar. If T-Tar has DD and HP Bug here, it'll win the day. If it doesn't, then Hclat looks good. And he's going to go for Leech Seed, but there's DD. That's not promising here. HP Bug, I believe, sends us to a 1-1 situation going into Game 3, but he DDs again, actually. And there's Giga Drain, so he's actually representing that he doesn't have HP Bug. He clearly would have gone for it there, so I think he's going to actually Rock Slide here and need a crit or a flinch. No crit. And no flinch either. Hclat gets the cooperative RNG when he needs it, and rather than being 1-1 going into a third game, it is a 2-0 Hclat lead. That was a critical final turn. As it turns out, I actually think the second DD was bad. I think you were supposed to rock slide there. I think that you could see based on the lefties here who was faster. Like, I think if the Celebi was still faster after the first Dragon Dance, then I think it's okay to second dance then, because it gives you the out of a flinch that you otherwise wouldn't have had. But SoulWind was able to see, based on the leftovers, that his Cheetar was, in fact, faster than the Celebi after the first Dragon Dance, and therefore I think that second dance was actually a mistake. I think you're supposed to rock slide there because it gives you a second opportunity to find the game-winning crit or flinch. Rather than just one opportunity, you'd have two. So I think SoulWind did butcher that late game a little bit. Whether or not he would have gotten those hacks, I don't know. But he would have given himself an additional chance to find it. So I do believe that was a mistake for SoulWind. But that being said, it is a 2-0 lead for Hclat over SoulWind here. Hclat is going to have up to 3 opportunities to beat SoulWind just one more time and be the CALLOUS Invitational 6 champion. SoulWind is going to have to win 3 in a row in order for him to be the champion, but do not count him out. It has been done before in the grand finals. It was Cowboy Dan down 2-0 against the greatest CALLOUS Invitational player of all time, the Linear Curve. Nobody would have bet that Dan could come back 3 in a row. No chance in hell. But that is exactly what he did. Dan backswept the Linear Curve and became the CALLOUS Invitational 2 champion. So do not count SoulWind out. These things can and do happen. Let's go to Game 3 and take it one game at a time. Like I said, Hclat with up to 3 opportunities to become the champ. Here is Game 3. This could be the last game of CALLOUS Invitational 6, and we will switch sides for continuity. SoulWind on the bottom, again, Hclat on the top, and it's going to be a Hariyama lead against Meta. And there is Fori and Meta, respectively. Loom coming in for Hclat, and that is a whiffed counter for SoulWind. He was hoping to take an EQ or a mash there, but that is not what happened. Spore is going to put something to sleep, and something ends up being the Hariyama, which sometimes carries sleep talk, but he's going to switch it up to Mence here, so we're not going to find out. Focus Punch 36% is a decent chunk. There's no sand right now, so lefties are good. And more switching for SoulWind as he again really wants to establish those spikes. Looks like a boom spam mixed offense for Hclat. Focus Punch coming down to threaten the Fori, and he's willing to take that to set up a spike. The punishment ends up being 35%, not a huge deal. Out of the way we go. Yet another boom Pokemon here for Hclat, and yet another failed counter for SoulWind. Rapid Spin comes down, and spikes get reestablished. This is a fine sequence for SoulWind because every time this happens, he just lefties up his Fori, which he's totally okay with. And here's an unlikely appearance by Scooby Doom in the finals. And that hidden power is actually going to be neutral because even though fire resists bug, dark is weak to it. So that's going to do 42% against Houndoom with his crappy base defense. He does land a Will-O-Wisp on T-Tar though. Which again, it's got to be special, right? Because why would you let a physical Tar take a Will-O-Wisp? Oh, well, he shows Brick Break. So it might be a mixed Tar. It might be Brick Break 3 special attacks. If it is a physical Tar, that's a terrible thing to get burnt. There's Mash, 16%. Interesting game here. I'm not sure who's ahead right now. Might be Hclat with the sleeping Hari and with the chip damage that he's gotten off, but that spike is pretty good. Hclat does have a spinner, but he's got to find a safe time to use it. Protect. And, ooh, good thing he protected. And Hidden Power presumably grass there, so SoulWind now knows about that. Fori pulls it back. And that HP grass is not even going to negate leftovers. Fori going to lefty up to 80. Meteor Mash. Does he counter? Counter! Alright, gets him for 31 big ones. Thunder Punch, 20%, sure. And Spikes, which, I mean, of course he doesn't counter again because it would have done nothing, so you might as well spike up. Here comes Pert, hoping to get Thunder Punched. And indeed, that's what happens, but he's not going to stick around for long because he knows there's an HP Grass on the other side. This set of mixed meta seems real annoying for SoulWind, all things considered. And Hidden Power is not going to be exciting against Mence there. He does get a crit, so does a little bit extra, but it's not a huge deal. He should scare out the meta here with a Fire Blast, but we'll see. Hclat goes to Lax thinking that'll take a fire attack, which he takes no problem, 17%. It could be even less if he has Thick Fat, but based on that damage, you've got to assume he's got immunity, which is fine. Brick Break, 47%. I actually don't know that I love letting the Mence die here because it seems like one of your best ways to deal with the meta. I think Hclat gets the better end of this turn for sure, and his Lax is not quite dead yet, but it's going to be outsped by Fori of all things, which is a statement that should never be made. And there's Hidden Power Bug with a crit for SoulWind, but Lax is dead for Hclat pending a Rapid Spin in the future, which he easily could have. And it's Hidden Power for both of them. Ironically, Hidden Power in Gen 3, I'm not sure how it works in other gens, but Hidden Power in Gen 3, regardless of what type it is, so even if it is HP, say Fire, or in this case Grass, it actually comes back with Counter rather than Mirror Coat. All Hidden Powers get bounced back with Counter rather than Mirror Coat in Gen 3. So that's a weird interaction. He could actually counter HP Grass here. But it's obviously better either way for him to just HP Bugs. That's what he's doing. Exchanging Thunder Punches and HP Bugs, and it's all going to be for naught. It's just a trade. There's the boom. No more meta, no more Fori, and it leaves us in a 5-4 situation favoring Hclat with an unrevealed in the back for both of them. Obviously, Clat immediately wants to get the Rapid Spin off, so that's what he's going to do. And the punishment's really not that bad. It's just an Ice Beam, but he catches a 10% freeze as well, so that's the best case scenario for SoulWind. I guess crit would have also... crit plus freeze would have been the best case, but this is pretty good. And the doll is actually going to immediately thaw out, and he's going to blow on the Pert for a big 73%. Houndoom comes down, threatening, I guess, a Crunch or an HP Grass to finish him off. And he's going to play around it. There's the Protect. And he does go for Crunch. So we've seen, Crunch, Wow. And he's going to have a Fire attack, of course, Flamethrower or whatever. So he's got one more move that we don't know. There's Bliss, and there is a Crunch. So I guess the last move could be Beat Up, but he's only got 4 Mons left rather than the full 6. But it is Beat Up, and we'll see if that is enough. And that's actually a pretty hefty Beat Up, especially with the critical hit at the end there. And SoulWind was obviously not playing around that because he went for Wish. He would have clicked Soft Boiled otherwise, so now he's actually in danger to die to Beat Up if Hclat goes for it again, which he doesn't. He switches it up and goes Will-O-Wisp here, which is going to blank on the Pert, and the Pert is also going to eat the Wish, so that was a good turn for SoulWind, but the Blissey is actually not in good shape at all after getting beat up by the Houndoom. Earthquake there is going to be good enough even though he's burnt, so Houndoom's down, and it leaves us in a 4-3 favoring SoulWind with Hclat still with an unrevealed in the back. And here's Loom, which can't actually spore this Swampert, and apparently he can't hit Sky Uppercut either. And Refresh there, awkwardly, is going to make it so it is sporable. That's if the Hari wakes up, of course, because that's spored before, and you can't activate Sleep Claws. So here comes Sky Uppercut, which is protected against this time. Swampert back up to 100%. Sky Uppercut again, this time landing a crit. And the Retaliation Ice Beam is 71%. Swampert should be safe from the Sky Uppercut. And by safe, I mean it'll survive, but it'll obviously hurt quite a bit. He's going to protect because there's no reason not to. He's going to go up to 45% after the lefties. And Sand is going to kill the Loom. So it's going to leave us in a 4-2 situation with Mence coming down for Hclat. Hidden Power there is flying, not grass. And Ice Beam is going to come up way, way, way short. So bulky Mence or uninvested Pert, it seems, or both. The Burnt T-Tar comes in, and Dragon Dance on the switch for Hclat. Yeah, got to do what you got to do, right? You make plays to win the game, and Mence is the only way out. The very low lax is not going to get it done. So you got to do what you got to do to win the game, and Earthquake is going to kill the T-Tar. So now the Swampert comes back, which is very much in danger of dying to the Mence. However, if Hclat gets cute and Dragon Dances and then SoulWind Ice Beams, then SoulWind simply wins the game. But Hclat wins this Mind Game turn, Dragon Dancing on a Protect, and now I think SoulWind is in trouble. Wow, he 50-50 protects here, and Hclat dances again. Hclat must have been anticipating a switch there, but I think you're supposed to just attack. Here comes the Bliss Fodder. Christ, that's a 4th Dragon Dance for Hclat. I don't know about that play. I think the last 2 of those dances should have just been attacks, but I think it's over one way or another now. How many lefties would the Swampert have to gain to somehow survive a 4x Dragon Danced Salamence here? I don't think it can be done. SoulWind is going to try it. Good on him, but I think Hclat is moments away from sweeping SoulWind and becoming the champ. Protect fails. Hidden Power. That's it. Swampert is down. Harayama in its sleep has no chance. GG's, and that is it. Hclat, who lost the first set 3-1, does not repeat that whatsoever. He comes back with a vengeance and outright sweeps SoulWind. 3-0, definitive victory, decisive victory, and Hclat is your CALLOUS Invitational 6 champion. Congratulations. It is going to be 3rd place Umbri taking home over $500. Runner-up SoulWind taking home over $750. But it is going to be champion Hclat winning the championship, the admiration, the custom avatar, and over $1,250 real dollars for his efforts. You know, believe it or not, this is a true story. It's funny how it worked out. The day that I did the live stream reveal of the pairings, the very first week of CALLOUS Invitational 6, when I did the live stream at noon or whatever it was, we did the pairings, and then immediately after that, I jumped in the shower and ran off to get lunch. And I got lunch with Hclat in person. He's originally from Georgia, so that was never an option before because I'm up in New Hampshire and it's very far. But he recently moved to Boston for work. So we had prearranged that we were going to get some lunch. So my wife and I both, right after the live stream, met up with Hclat and got lunch. And as we were leaving, we took a picture because we just wanted to commemorate the occasion of meeting. Who knows if we'll ever meet again. And he said to me, I don't know if he was joking or not joking, probably at least half joking, but he said, you should save that picture because it is a picture of the tournament host and the future champion. And we both got a laugh out of it at the time. But as it turns out, it was in fact, it is now an immortal picture. It was in fact a picture of the tournament host and the champion who met on day 1 of the tournament. Funky story, right? But that is a thing that actually happened. Well, that is it for CALLOUS Invitational 6. There will be one more video after this just to thank all you guys for everything that you've done and all your support. But I'll just say it again here. This tournament couldn't happen without you guys. The donations are so generous and so overwhelming in the best way. The only reason that I keep playing Mons and keep doing these tournaments is because it's very, very clear how much these tournaments mean to the community. I really, really appreciate the support every year. It really, really means a lot to me on a personal level. I really feel the love and support, and it's just so gratifying. I really want to thank all of you guys from the bottom of my heart for supporting this tour year in and year out. And if I bring it back next year, which I want to do, but I'm not making any promises, it'll be for you guys again, for the love of the game and for the love of my small but wonderful audience. So thank you truly for supporting this tour. One more time, congratulations to Umbri, SoulWind, and our champion of CALLOUS Invitational 6, Hclat. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.